guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. Today is day 9 of our holiday card series, and we are going to be doing a cute little easel card. Now, I did one off of screen, which I will show you here in a second. We'll be doing one that's a little bit different for obvious reasons. We don't want to do the same cards over and over again, but I did this cute little snowman. This is from the MFT Snow Happy stamp set. Right now they're not in business. I believe they might be coming back. I'm not sure. I've seen like posts and stuff. If anybody else knows, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, if I can find it elsewhere, I will link it. But what we did was use Lawn Fawn Build a Snow Globe die. I cut it in some like gray tone pattern paper and some silver shimmer cardstock, and then I did like a bit of a table and a wallpaper kind of thing, and then you just make a crease so that you can put it here and it will stand up. I did my measurement so that it would stand a bit straighter. Like it's not going to stand straight up, but it does stand a bit straighter. I know a lot of people when they do easel cards will go directly in the center. This one is at the 2-inch mark instead of 2 3/4 inches where you would put it for a 5.5-inch card. And then on the inside there's this little sentiment strip that I popped up on the 1mm foam tape. You can do a couple of layers of cardstock or do thin foam tape. You don't want it too bulky because it's on the inside of the card. And then when the recipient gets it, they can just fold it up and use it as like a stopper to hold the card up. So we're going to be recreating this today, and we're going to be doing a Santa version. So I've cut out all of my stuff already, and for this card we're going to be doing the striped background and Nina Desert Storm for the base, and then for the base of the snow globe I just cut the bottom portion of the shaker bit die. So this die here, I just cut the bottom portion out in the dark brown. It looks like part of it shifted when it got cut, which is fine. We're going to be covering that anyway with the gold. This one's going to be a bit more traditional Christmas because it's going to be a Santa card. I cut this panel to 4 by 1 3/4 so that it fits into the bottom section. The top one I cut to 4 3.5. We are going to trim a little bit on the bottom, so if you want to do that first you can. It's just you're just going to be trimming off 1/8. I made it go up right up to the fold instead of matting it all the way around, just so that there wasn't like a big white gap here, and then you would see the seam line. This kind of helps cover the seam line a little bit. So I'll show you how I do that in a second. So let's get the card base started, and then we'll build our globe and our images. And then for the Santa, I think I'm going to use this one from Holly Jolly Santa, also MFT, and I will probably use the Wishing You a Holly Jolly Christmas on the inside. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. I will switch over to voiceover and you guys can learn how to make this card. Okay, voiceover Liz is here. We are going to assemble this card. I'm going to start by scoring my card, again, 2 inches from the bottom. This just helps the image stand up a little bit straighter than it would if you were doing it at 2 3/4, which is at the halfway mark between the 5.5-inch length. You'll want to do a top folding card for these for sure. It's much easier than trying to do it the other way, and it just gives you more space to play with. And we're keeping these cards fairly simple. Like I'm adding the paper here, and I use pattern paper for that reason, that it's going to be a pretty plain card, just because when this card sits upright you're not even going to see the back anyway. The background is there just so that when the recipient takes it out of the envelope it looks like a finished card, and then once they open it and like fold it back they can have like the standing snow globe, so that again, like the pattern paper is not going to show once it's on display, but it's there for when the card is laying flat. You could add a little bit more decoration around it if you wanted to, but again, it's not going to be shown majority of the time unless the person has it on display flat. I don't know how, these probably don't stand very well. I've never tried to like stand one up, but I think the fold in the card would definitely help it collapse. So these types of cards really need to be displayed as intended. But yeah, so I ink blended around the edge of the snow globe just a little bit. I kept it dark around the edges and blended it into nothing in the center. It just helps create a little bit of a vignette and a little bit of, you know, atmosphere. I mean, snow globes are clear anyway, but I always add a little bit of sky color to it regardless. And for the base, I'm just using plain brown cardstock, and then for the trim, we're using the gold foil cardstock from Michaels. And if you wanted to, you could add like a wood grain texture to this if you wanted it to be a little bit more of a traditional snow globe. This time I left it. Normally I do add some kind of grain texture. And then I'm only adding glue from right below that top gold area down, and I'm aligning that top gold area to the fold, just so that it's only glued at the base, and then the top of the snow globe pops up above that when it's displayed correctly. And then we're going to color in our Santa. Again, I'm not making this anything fancy. It's just going to be the one image in the snow globe. If you wanted to, you could use a couple of smaller images and create a scene, or you could use the die-cut trees that come with the set and do that instead, do like an all die-cut card. I just wanted to use images because I like to color images instead of doing full-on die cuts all the time, and it creates more of a Christmassy scene to me. You could use the trees as well, again, to create a little bit more of a scene, but I decided to keep these pretty plain and simple. Originally, I wanted to cut these out of acetate for the back layer so that it was a clear card, but acetate doesn't die cut very well, and I was trying to do it with a thicker acetate as well, so which does not help. But I did want something a little bit more stable than the transparency sheets that I normally use. Like those ones are usually meant for doing overhead projectors, which nobody uses anymore, but that I know of anyway, and they're more flimsy. I do have some heavier acetate sheets from Simon that's meant to, you can do like heat embossing on. I've never actually used it for that or anything really. I did try to die cut it like I mentioned, but it wasn't working. It was not cutting through at all. Like it just kind of like embossed it a little bit, so I kind of gave up on that idea. I could probably try doing my thinner transparency sheets next time, but I think it would be fun to do the transparent snow globe, just because it makes it look even more like a snow globe. It's kind of like those circular cards we did, I believe, last year. I'll link it in the video at the end, just to show you how we did those cards, but I did circular cards that kind of look like snow globes, and we put like bases on them and everything. These bases would actually probably be good for that type of card. It might not be good in the sense that it's a lot smaller than the 5-inch circles that I cut for that card, but it would be good to try and then see how that turns out. It might make it a little bit of a taller card than the ones I did, because I did the base a little bit lower. Apologies for Ash meowing in the background. He's a bit of a needy cat, and I've been in my craft room all day trying to get some videos done. So he's being a little needy and wants some attention. He's a very clingy cat. I love him so much though. He's such an adorable little guy. Anyway, back to the card. We're gonna put in some snow, because you can't have a snow globe without snow, right? If I didn't put snow on here, what is this? So we're gonna do our controlled snow as always, and then after that we'll get going on the sentiment. Other than that, like, this card is pretty much done. Again, these are quick, simple cards, and there's really not too much to do with them. Again, you can also add more if you want or need to, but the majority of it is going to not be on display anyway. So I would just focus more on your snow globe, and then maybe on the bottom area add a little bit of texture, or get a different kind of pattern paper instead of like the plain cardstocks if you wanted to. I was debating on putting wood grain texture on that as well, but I was like, you know what, we're just gonna leave it plain. And then on the snowman one that I did off camera, I have a bit of a like printed background on that one on the base. with this tonal gray set that I have. I think it was from Sunny Studios, but it added a little bit of something to the bottom. So again, you can either do that to the base of your snow globe, or you can do it to the quote-unquote table that it's sitting on, which would be the bottom section. So I found a like darker tealy green kind of cardstock in my stash that somewhat went with the green on the background here. It's a bit darker, but it's still like in the same tonal family, which is fine. And then I'm going to pop this up on the 1mm thickness foam tape again, just because we need that stopper. And then you're going to want to make sure that it's at the top of that is at the 2-inch mark or below. You don't want it any higher, because then your cardstock will start to go inwards and then your snow globe will start to angle out, if that makes sense. It will make sense when you make the card, but again, just try to do it at that 2-inch mark and then it will stay a little bit straighter. But yeah, those are our cards for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I'd love to have you here. And until next time, thanks guys, bye.